G'day. How are you this morning? Well, I'm back out after 6 weeks not being able to get out in the bush, and I'm going back to where I sprained my ankle. I'm just going to have a bit of a look around and do a little video about it. But I have found an old track. You can see, I'll put an arrow where the actual track is, and then you'll be able to see where that is. But I found the old track that hasn't been used for, well, I don't know, 50 odd years, and they actually renamed it further down or closer to the entrance. This is the original Champagne track, I'd say. I'm just taking me time, just wandering through, and I guess the ankle's, I don't know, 90%. There's no way it's 100. I can feel it, but it's not hampering me walking along. As long as I watch what I'm doing and watch every step, I should be right. Pay a little bit more attention than I did when I was down here last time, and I'll get out without an injury. Sometimes it's a bit hard to see the track, but you can see it now. You can see it going up through there. It's not really a track, is it? It's a road. Awful lot of mushrooms that have popped up, or I guess fungi. Yeah. I've noticed a lot this morning, and the forest is wrecked. Looks like everything's pretty old in here that's fallen down, but out on the road there's quite a few really big gum trees that have broken off and dropped across the track. Yeah, that's why you don't camp under eucalypts in Australia. You have a very bad day if one falls on you, and they do it without warning, especially after a storm. I think they had about 5 inches of rain up here last week. I was actually planning to be up here, but it rained that hard I wasn't confident that my ankle would have handled the slippery conditions. I made it to the end of the road. It's just there. Probably see the little clearing, but it branches off from another one, so I don't know where the other one goes. I guess at some stage I'll have to go and have a look. But now I'm walking straight through here to get to the creek. There is a couple of spots of interest that I wouldn't mind having a look at around here, and depending on how I feel on the way back, I might work my way back to the original track that I was on, or the original part of the track that I was on, and try to get to one of them. G'day, I made it back. This is where I sprained my ankle roughly 6 weeks ago, down in there. I'll wander down in it in a minute and have a look at where I actually did it. And up there is what I had to walk out in. That's yeah, a bit daunting when you just stand here looking at it like that. It was hard enough to get in here, let alone getting out through all that rubbish. And I'm pretty sure it was just down in there that I hurt my ankle. So I'll go down and have a quick look and have something to eat and drink. Then go through the stuff that I had in my pack and what I was thinking and maybe what I should have done instead of what I did. I just come from up that way and I was walking through here. I was going to head down the creek a little bit. It's pretty easy going through here. There's not a lot of rubbish. And then I remember seeing these two logs, thinking I don't want to go up through that way because there's a whole heap of crap. I'm going to go down along the bank here and over that first log and then around and then maybe under the second. So I've come down along through here, which is, you know, it's pretty simple. There's nothing too hard about this, except for the prickly crap. And then that log there must have been laying across here somewhere, because I remember hearing a crack and I ended up down in that rubbish down there. Oh goodness me. And there's water in it now. I'm glad there wasn't water in it last time. I would have got soaked. But they did have 5 inches of rain. And then I was just going to walk up the creek a bit. Yeah, so I remember gathering my thoughts and kind of doing a quick check to see if anything was broken, which I didn't think it was, and the scans later on proved that it wasn't. And then all I did was look up that hill and thought, how on earth am I going to get up there? So I'm getting out of this creek because these runners, these trail shoes, they're terrible on wet rock. These hokers, all of them seem to be. No grip at all once they get wet. Then I struggled to hear and looked up and thought, my jingos, what am I going to do now? And I started crawling up that hill. I guess I got 10 meters up and realized that wasn't a very good life choice. And figured out my foot that I could actually go uphill, still incredibly sore, but I could go uphill without too much worry about it really giving me well, I was in pain anyway, but really making it almost impossible to move. So that's what I did. I about 10 or 15 up, I got on my feet and I just hobbled up there a little bit further. Oh geez, I've just come up there. That was hard work. Oh, even with a foot that's maybe 85-90% right. Geez, that was hard. This is the tree, or the two trees that I sat behind just to gather my thoughts. This big one here and that one. I remember taking the pack off and yeah, just kicking back for 30 minutes or so. Yeah, it was a bit of a lifesaver at the time. It really helped me gather my thoughts. So what I did, I sat down right here, just put my pack down and straight away I just started tightening up my boot. I got it as tight as I possibly could because I knew if I took it off, I probably wouldn't get it back on, because there's a pair of high rocky snake boots, which I thought would have given me a little bit more protection from a bit of a twisted ankle, but no, it didn't. So I'm going to have to look into another pair of boots to stop that when I come into these spots. Then it was just about getting my thoughts back and figuring out what I was going to do. Now, I did have the PLB with me. When I was in the creek, I actually thought of using it nearly straight away, but getting people down into where I was to get me out again, I thought if I can at least get to a safe area that they can get to, if I do need them, I'll be able to call them. And by that time I would have had phone service, which I actually thought I had anyway. So I could have rung, you know, I commented about it online a few times, and a good suggestion came up. Maybe I should have called 000 and let them know what my situation was. That's 000 in Australia. So yeah, 000 in Australia. Told them what my situation is and let them know that if I got into any more trouble, I could call them. They can come and get me, or I could let them know when I finally got out back to the car. From where I am now, the car is 3.5, maybe 4 kilometers. And I remember when I looked at the map and I plotted a map route out on my app that I use, I only thought it was 1.5 km. I didn't take into account, or however my brain was working, didn't take into account that once I got to the road, I had to walk 1.5 km back along the road, or nearly 2 km back along the road to get to the car. So yeah, I was a bit confused there, but yeah, it ended up working out on that one. So I knew once I got to the top of this spur, it was pretty flat and I would be able to get out okay. But it was to get up to from the edge of this is only, I guess, 15 degrees, but it's still hard when you can only use one leg or one ankle. So the first thing I did, I had something to drink and something to eat. I had a energy gel, and I always carry a banana with me, and I had a banana. That was just to give me a bit of energy and pick me up a little bit, and yeah, just to calm me down, because I figured I needed as much energy as I could to get out with an ankle that was really hurt. Rightio, so what else? Well, I had my medical kit. The only thing I didn't have was a compression bandage, which I don't. Yeah, maybe if I had trail runners on, I might have used it, but I wasn't going to take my boot off. There's no way known I could have got it back on. It was hard enough to get it off back at the car. So I didn't have one of them because I had my snake boots. And yeah, the snakes can't bite through them, so I didn't bother with a bandage just in case. What else? I had 3 litres of water in the bladder. A little bag with some food, some 2-minute noodles, coffee, sugar, powdered milk. What else is in there? Choc mint drink. Also had that. Head torch in there, just a dry towel, and there's also another little bag. There's the food bag. There's also another little bag in there with some line and a lighter, fire lighters, things like that in it. And that's right, I also have, bugger it, I'm going to get it out. The gimbal's not working again, so that's a bit of a pain. I've got a 2x2 metre tarp in there, which I had on me as well, so I had shelter. But what I've since put in there is one of the emergency little bivvies, like a little bag that you can turn into a little teepee. So now that if something happens and I'm stuck out in the bush in the rain, I can put up the tarp on the ridge line, and I can get down into that and keep myself warm and dry. So that's a little addition that I had. And I also had in there a camp stove, so that I could eat if I had to. So I had plenty of gear. The reason I don't think, well, I hadn't bought the little emergency bivvy yet. I also had my water stuff in there, filter, and come here, the little Trek Shield poncho tent canvas. So I did have a fair bit of stuff that if I had got stuck here, I could have used it with no problems and been able to at least stay overnight. I would have had to have picked a good camp spot though, because around here I can see a lot more trees that are down, even since I was here when I was sitting behind this tree last time. So yeah, you got to still find a nice safe spot to hang out. The other thing I've bought since, even though I had the light and I've got the phone, and I bought a little clip-on LED light. They're pretty good, so I'm bringing that one with me now. And of course I've got the PLB with me. The thing I forgot to mention is that in my first aid kit I had anti-inflammatories, and I also had I guess your Panadol, for want of a better word, whatever they are. So I was pretty well prepared, and I guess in the end it did help me get out. Did I panic? Probably. For about the first, I reckon for about the first 10 minutes, I thought, oh geez, what am I going to do here? And then I come up here, which it was hard enough to get up here with an almost good ankle, let alone with an ankle I couldn't walk on. I remember coming up here and just relaxing and calming down and having something to eat and something to drink, and knowing that there was probably only 200 meters of this spur that I had to crawl up, not crawl up, that I had to hobble up. And then after that it was quite, not flat, but it wasn't hard work. The hard work is down this end. But other than that, that's what I did and what I felt, and how I managed to stay calm. I knew exactly where I was. In that direction there, you got Mount Blackwood Road, which is about 1 kilometre away. So I knew that I wasn't that far from anywhere really, but I was in the middle of nowhere. It's funny that you're not far from anywhere, but you are. So that's where I was, down in there. And up there is where I had to go. And it was a little bit daunting, but you know, you have to do what you have to do. And I'm gonna just try and get up here a little bit. Obviously, you know, I was picking the easiest way and using every tree that I could find to drag myself up. Yeah, and that little rest was good because my ankle was feeling it a little bit just then. Right now I'll put this camera away, I'll get up the top and I'll have another chat. So I'm on top of the hill now. Well, not on top of the hill. I've climbed up the spur from down there. The other thing I carry on me is a hunting knife. I have got a Swiss Army thing, a little red one. But yeah, I've been carrying the hunting knife a bit more. And with this hunting knife, I ended up making a walking stick that I use to get out with, or help me get out with. If it wasn't for that, I would have been in a little bit more trouble, I think. Like, I'm not one to carry hiking poles with me, but I think they probably would have been handy in that situation. Well, I haven't got any now. I think they kind of, for me, they get in my way at the moment. Yeah, so once I got to here and I had my little walking stick, it wasn't perfect, but I knew that I'd more than likely be able to get out. The one thing with that is I was really lucky that it was 9:45 in the morning. I usually start right up around sunrise and head out. If it had been 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there's no way I would have got out before the sun went down, and I would have had to have called for help. So that was another thing that was on my side on the day. And as you can see, walking through here is pretty easy. It's just a casual little stroll when your feet are good. So it made it very simple, or not very simple, made it a lot less challenging to get out with a wrecked ankle. Check that bugger out. Had some big storms out here last weekend, I think it was. 4 inches of rain, nearly 5. Oh, that's why you don't camp under a Aussie gum trees. Yeah, that would have given you a headache. Wouldn't have to worry about an ankle then, would you? Well, the way out is directly out that way, and in a couple of weeks I'm going to be heading down that way to the left. There's a couple of sites I want to have a look at down there. I think might be fairly promising. That's a few things I reckon that I learnt and what I can take away, and maybe what we can all take away from it. As the old Boy Scout motto said, be prepared. That's it for me. I'll catch you later. Hooroo.